What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how I went from a 1200 ELO to playing at a 2000 level in just one game. And you might call me crazy, you might not believe me, but this really happened and it was kind of crazy. I was streaming the other day, just like any other day, and a couple chatters wanted to play me. And I never backed down to a challenge, so I said, why not? I'm only 1200 ELO though, and this guy was 2000. We already knew how it would go, but honestly, I kind of surprised myself with this game. So without further ado, let me just show you how it went. Alright, so fortunately I was white for this game, and I decided to play e4. I believe my opponent played d5. No, e5. Okay. I forget how this went already. I bring my knight out. He plays f6, f3, knight f3, knight c6, and I just get good development in the center. I'm only 1200, but I've been told to, get your bishops out, get your knights out, take control of these four centers, also get your pawns out. And that's just what I did. We kind of mirrored each other. And then I like to push d3 a lot of the time. So you'll see in a lot of my games I push d3. Just for like bishop g5, bishop e3 kind of ideas. Stuff like that. I'm just looking for development early on. I'm not looking for any tactics or exchanges. Now he stops the idea of bishop g5 early, and so I just castle. I thought, still the ELO bar saying we're even, and I'm looking pretty good. It's still just the opening, so there's nothing too crazy. Now I play e3 in case he wants to exchange. If takes, I thought of takes with my f2 pawn, and then that opens up my rook. But obviously he didn't take. Now he moves back to b6 because he wants me to take. If I take, that'll open up his rook, take the whole file, and that's pretty powerful. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I instead play h3, castles, and sometimes I like to make this move. Sometimes I like to make the move knight c3 to knight or to d5. Sorry, I'm still getting used to these the squares and stuff. Just in case he takes. So if he takes, I like to take back, and then his knight has to either run back or develop onto a square that's not really that good for him. Now the ELO bar doesn't quite like that, but it's not too bad in my opinion. So here he played bishop to e6. Looking at this move, it just looks like a development kind of move in case I want to take. Then he can take my bishop. And I kind of like double up my pawn structure is what I'm thinking was going on here. But I take his bishop. Taking a bishop for a knight is usually better. Usually. And now if he takes my bishop, I just take back with the knight. And I don't have to kind of break my little pawn structure. And so far, I'm playing pretty good. I'm a 0.1 up against the 2000. So I'm pretty solid here. Now I take his bishop. And things are looking good. I played the move c3 here. Just looking at knight jumps. I stopped this jump. This jump was already kind of not possible. He still has knight a5, but it's looking pretty good for me. I'm not doing too bad. D5, D4. I was calculating here. This one took me a while. If takes, I take, and then he can take my knight, but I take his knight. It was just this took me a couple minutes. It took me a while to calculate that move. But he ended up taking my pawn. I take back. I tried to keep this kind of center structure. He takes with the knight. I didn't see that. And at first I was like, oh, I've given up a free pawn. Like, this is it. I decided to move back. He moves his knight back as well. And I get my queen out. Now, I was looking at this pawn. This pawn was hanging since my queen pins his pawn. But also, I was looking at the e6 pawn, delivering a check and collecting this pawn. Also, probably collecting this pawn as well. Now, he stops this by playing knight f5, which is, I did not see this coming. See, I can't take with the bishop because he'll just take. And I can't take the pawn because the knight blocks. Now, you probably can take here with knight takes, queen takes check, but it just looks worse. So, yeah, it's just worse. So there's no point in playing that. Oops. So instead, I decide to get my knight into the action, play knight f3. You know, looking for this knight outpost. Knight trades, you know, trying to just get my knight into an active position. Now he activates his queen with queen f6, bishop f4. I'm looking at this pawn c7, you know, and ideas to take it. Now I am a little worse here. I'm almost a whole point down, but so far, like, I'm playing pretty good against a 2000, and I'm only 1200. I am down almost half of his time at this point, but, you know, it's going to take me a lot longer to make these decisions. Knight takes, and at first I was kind of panicking at this move, but what did I do? Yeah, I took with the knight. I was seeing queen takes. I can still take this pawn. Oh no, I take the e6 pawn, sorry, with check. And then this will allow me to take that pawn as well, and I'm not looking too bad. So he moves his king. I pick up that juicer, and look, we're back to even already. With a couple great moves that I've seen, we're back to equal. But he also takes this pawn, so I need to play a bit careful. I gobble up that juicer, as Hikaru would say, and he takes another pawn. And surprisingly, even though I'm down 1 point of material, we're still equal. So I take his rook, takes with check, I move my king, and I'm still guarding this pawn. This pawn is pretty weak. So I have 2 guards, he has 1 attacker, the queen was also attacking at 1 point. It's not too obvious what to do in this position, so I move. This took me a while. This took me 34 seconds to make this move, and I'm already running low on time. But I moved to queen f7, you know, guarding my bishop, guarding my rook, also guarding this pawn. It's guarding everything. And he pushes his pawn. I decide to move my rook in. I was like, I have no clue what to do. Let's just attack his queen. And honestly, it apparently wasn't a bad move, according to the computer. He moves his queen to b2. Isn't the best move, but it's still good. And I just move my rook back. And then that just equalizes the position once again. I don't see any advantage to playing this. I just keep equalizing the position, even though he's giving me a slight advantage. And we're just moving our queens around. I get my bishop out here. Bishop d6. I don't really remember the plan to it. I just thought my bishop was kind of trapped here, not doing anything. And so I try to get it a little more active, but also being careful where to put it because that knight is pretty dangerous. Queen c4, trying to trade the queens. Now, at one point in chat, I had someone tell me we were equal if I had traded. But as you can see, that's not the case. I'd be down 0.5 against black. So instead I found queen d7, which was the best move as it did not change the position. He plays queen d4. All this is pretty standard, but I thought this was a free pawn. I thought free pawn, I could take this pawn, and then I could take the rook if nothing happens. Evalbire says no. He finds a check, also taking my bishop. I totally hung my bishop. I block with a pawn. That's apparently no good. He's attacking my queen. I move back. Still attacking my queen with knight e5. I thought this was an okay move, pinning the knight to the queen, but oops. But it really does nothing. Rook to d8, sorry. Pawn a4. I was like, I'm pretty lost here. My endgames aren't very strong. I thought it just takes. Get rid of that pawn and we can have a battle on the right side of the board. He takes. And I mouse slip. Queen b4. And at this point I resign the game with 28 seconds left. Gonna be down a queen and gonna lose. But now you might be wondering, how did you play like a 2000? You still lost. So there's this thing on chess.com where you can go into game review. You'll see 83.8% accuracy, 93.5% accuracy, which doesn't mean a lot. But if we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that it gives us a rating. And that rating is 2000. And I'm only 1200. Now, he played like a 2250 that game. I played like a 2000. But yeah, chess.com will calculate what rating this game you played at. And this game, it tells me I played as a 2000. 800 ELO jump. That sounds pretty crazy. But yeah, it was a tough game. Mouse slipped my queen. But for the most part, we were pretty even. And it was a back and forth game. So yeah. If you did enjoy that video and you want to leave a like, please do. And you want to subscribe, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. And let me know what you want to see me do next. What you want kind of video wise. I'm figuring this out. If you guys could help me, that would be amazing. I appreciate you all and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Have a good one.